This is the Sports Game Podcast with Paul Catalina. I am Paul Catalina, and this is a new segment. Paul tries to make Pete have a hot take. I'm joined by Pete Sousa of the Pete Sousa Show, part of our 365 Sports Rogue Media family here. Pete is a very nice guy. Pete, I think you're a very nice guy. I just heard you on your show talking about Lane Kiffin. We're going to talk about Lane Kiffin, but getting sober and your journey and how these reflective things. So you have a perspective on things where you are not, because of your sober journey. Yeah, you have probably not as much of a hot take guy as when you were not, I would think. Because you have to be thoughtful about
that. Is a great point. And yeah, I think so. And it doesn't, I try now to honestly have a little more teeth in my takes because when I got sober, it's kind of like understanding what's going on in somebody else's shoes, like trying to see the whole field as to why they're acting the way they are, which is a whole nother kind of brand of talk radio, podcasting shows, whatever. But at the same time too, you did miss this morning. I talked about how the Sixers suck. And I do not hate is a strong word, but Daryl Morey, Sam Hinkie, the whole process thing. Thank God we got it out. So I can be a jerk.
Yeah, you can be a jerk. Yeah, but you were, you did before this, you were doing morning news for quite a long time.
Hell yeah. The morning news guy.
Which is, I don't say it's the hardest to be your authentic self every single day in the morning that early, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you do have to, you can't have a bad day on the air. You can't be like, oh, Pete's grumpy today.
No.
And you're like, we got the Lake Waco Middle School in here. Their choir is going to sing. You guys, can you get that over with?
No, but you'd be surprised.
You can't. You have to be affable every day. So it's going to make you this job, you can maybe be more authentic all the time.
Yes.
You can have a day where you're like, I'm cranky, but
100%.
You cannot be cranky.
No, and that's why I'm so happy to be out of it, because you bring up a great point. You lack authenticity sometimes in that job.
But it's not intentional.
No,
it's just that you can't, for the audience, you owe them the best that you can be, even when you're not having a good day.
Yeah, and if you're reading a news story, you got to go right down the line with the story. You can't have any opinion, regardless of what you think. And I think that is worth it when you're good at that job.
Yeah.
But I was not great at it. So it's like, I'm not David Muir. I'm sitting in Waco, Texas, or Monroe, Louisiana, making, I don't want to say chump change, but not making a ton of money, kind of selling out. So it was nice to get, I don't want to say out from under that, but separated.
It's a hard job to have.
It is. But as everything, happens for a reason or whatever, the way I see it, I didn't understand. There were times where I really did not like that job. I didn't like the people I worked with in other markets, not in Waco. And you realize that you don't have to continue to do that. You know what I mean? But I did also realize when I was done that it made me such a better broadcaster.
Oh, yeah.
The first play-by-play game I was doing for ESPN, it was a dumpster fire. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know this. I did local news. And you also just know getting on, off the air, opens, all that stuff. It's like second nature now. And that's after, I'd have to be a fool not to have had some of that sink in over the course of 8-9 years doing TV in the morning.
When I first started doing high school football play-by-play, Tom Barfield was my boss. And he got me, and I was doing university, and they were awful. I mean, bad. Every game was over at halftime. And I love Leroy Coleman, the coach. He was such a great guy. And I really did feel like I wasn't doing a good enough job for him. But the games were just boring.
Yeah.
They were so boring. And I couldn't fake it. I'm a person who's not – I had to get better at faking it. Because, again, you owe the audience, you owe these people that everything is exciting. And so I went to my dad. And I was like, Dad, I'm struggling here. He's like, yeah, you sound bored on the air. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, and at this time, Baylor is in just a quagmire of awfulness in football. He goes, talk to John Morris. You see him every day, right? I said, yeah. I said, how? I said, go ask him. I walked in and said, John, I have a big favor to ask. I need some advice. He's like, what? Lay it on me. I said, you've done a lot of these blowouts. I said, every game I'm doing is a blowout before it starts. He goes, you're doing a football game. You're doing it for university. just be happy for the kids that they're getting out there and having an opportunity and that they're trying hard, and make sure that you are as happy that you are doing a football game as you possibly can be, and find those things that are entertaining and make them entertaining for everybody else. And I said,
that's good advice.
I said, okay, great. That's okay. That I can do.
Yeah.
That I can do.
Yeah.
Because like my instinct, especially in my mid-20s, was to be like, guys, this is a shit sandwich. Like, like I can't tell you anything else like other than this is a shit sandwich.
Yes.
Like, and you look, whoever, I had different color analysts the whole time. They're like, yeah, no, it's definitely that.
And then you don't want to go too far because then you lose credibility with your audience. Like when a team is playing poorly and you try to dress it up, there's knowledgeable sports fans being like, no, this is terrible.
But you also can't just trash the coach and all those things. Like the only time a broadcaster gets away with that when the coach is a generally bad person.
That my attitude and philosophy that we talked about off the top of the show, that is one thing that enhances my ability as a play-by-play guy, because I'm constantly trying to understand why coaches think and do things as opposed to trying to burn the house down.
Yeah.
Which is what networks want. They want you to celebrate both schools and both coaches. Yeah. So that's helpful there. I've
also come to the belief, I have more respect for, I think there's more, coaches are less of the problem than people realize. Each situation is individual, but it's on institutional philosophy, whether it's college or pro.
Yes.
Like your institutional philosophy will make your coach as successful as he can be. Now, if you're doing everything on that side to make a coach successful and they're still not winning, like the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, they're both doing everything they could do. It was just over, right?
Yeah.
But there's sometimes where like, nah, the coach is checked out. Like,
absolutely.
But like you can't fire the owners. It's a harder thing to do.
Much harder.
You can't do that. Okay, so let's try to make you have a hot take. So I've written some things down that are hot takey in nature. Some of them I might even somewhat agree with. LeBron needs to retire, if for nothing else, so the public can move on. Do you agree with that statement?
I totally disagree. No, the public should embrace LeBron James. This is greatness, and it's still playing at an elite level at 41 years of age. No, LeBron James needs to stay right there and do whatever he wants to do in the realm of opportunities he has, because it's different now. He's not the guy that can call his own shots, which has got to be weird for him, right? And when he tried to say the other night after the game, like, you guys, I'll let you know when I make a decision. I thought that was the only piece of BS of that press conference, where usually a lot of his stuff can be BS, but that was BS. Like, no. It's not going to be your decision, really. Like, it's going to be up to the powers that be, whether it's the Lakers or if he goes back to the Cavs. But to what you said, absolutely disagree. LeBron is here. Enjoy it, because, and even if you hate LeBron, enjoy that, because in 5 years, everybody's going to love him. That's how this stuff works.
Yeah. Well, I think we ruined the discourse of LeBron. I don't think it was like we made it all about, is he better than Kobe or MJ or all this stuff, and who cares?
Well, he kind of made it better. Well, he made it about that. Him and his camp were constantly putting out little things about like why he's better than MJ, even if they were doing it through the back door. So he did feed into that a little.
Yeah, and like he's made more, like, the one thing that's funny, he makes more PR mistakes than he does actual mistakes in life. He's not a bad person. Dude. He's a good guy.
Yeah, that's a great call.
He's a good dude. He's never hurt anybody. No. He's never done anything. Like, he's fine. It's just he's kind of pretentious.
Yes.
And that's the sin he has, that he is more punished for because he's one of the GOATs than somebody who is like Steven Jackson.
Yes.
Who probably isn't that great of a guy. Like, he's got problems. He's not that great of a guy.
He's dangerous.
But we're like, Steven Jackson. He's fun, isn't he? And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna take a shot at your hometown a little bit.
Go ahead.
Geno's and Pat's are trash. If you really want a good cheesesteak, you go to where?
Conestoga Pizza outside of Philadelphia. I totally agree. Geno's and Pat's are trash to me. Yeah, like, I don't like the Cheese Whiz. If I'm getting a cheesesteak, I want American cheese on there. I don't want Cheese Whiz. And honestly, I don't want to be treated like a goddamn mule, like just shepherded through a line. I understand that's like we get the soup Nazi feel at like places that are elite, but there's a ton of really good places in the greater Philadelphia area and in the city of Philadelphia. If you don't want to venture too far to like where Villanova University is, where my mom lives now. That's where Conestoga Pizza is. Jim's Steaks is one that's right by St. Joe's University, and it's also down on South Street in Philadelphia. Go to Jim's. If you're in the city of Philadelphia, go to Jim's as opposed to Gino and Pat's.
What I would do if you want to see Gino's and Pat's, and it's a very unique thing of two restaurants that absolutely hate each other's guts, but need each other to survive. Like it's the weirdest thing in the world, but they hate each other. I went in 2003, I split a cheesesteak with my dad's best friend. He lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, at either one. And for someone who, was eating, I was in Tampa, so a cheesesteak tastes like a cheesesteak. And then I did stand up the next night, and the guys took me, like we all went out, and one of the guys that was local, like took us to this place that like just said cheesesteaks on the window. Like it didn't have like,
there you go.
I don't even know like who the owner was. It just said cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
It was in Westchester. It was just around a corner
of course,
It was which I actually used to live there. I was very young. And I was like, well, this just
that's right. We've talked about that.
I said, this puts this to shame. And he's like, he goes, it's a tourist trap. That's like eating a hot dog at Disney World. And then like going somewhere where they like make only hot dogs. And you're like, not hot dog at Disney World. It's like, it's a tourist trap. He's like, it's hilarious. He goes, it's hilarious. He's like, as a comedian, I see why you appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because they just hate each other so much.
I agree with that.
That's what's fun about it. But the cheesesteak is average. And the cheesesteak is average because they have to churn out so like
it's constant boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And the one thing I said to my brother Michael, because we had Conestoga last week, I was back in Philly, Conestoga Pizza, the cheesesteaks. My parents moved to Philadelphia in 1977 or 76 actually. And Conestoga Pizza, I think they opened in 78. They've been making their cheesesteaks the same exact way since I ate my first. It tastes exactly like that this weekend. Which is awesome.
I had the whiz cheese, and it was interesting.
I don't like the whiz, man. I'm not a whiz guy.
It was interesting that they tried it, but I'm like, why wouldn't you just not melt cheese?
They didn't try it. I mean, it's their thing, So I'm opposed. I like American cheese.
Okay. NBA players are bored with the regular season. There's nothing that we can do to change it.
We got to change it. Otherwise, that league is totally screwed, in my opinion.
But they're bored. They look bored to me.
Well, they're bored.
It's too good for them.
They're bored in the playoffs. Like I went off yesterday about the injuries in the playoffs to superstars, like whether it's Luka, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. I mean, I'm forgetting some right now off the top of my head, but like, I'm not saying that those guys are able to play right now. Right? They clearly have a physical limitation, but we are in a world where like now doesn't matter and down the line matters more. And that sucks for fans. Like, I watched Larry Bird, one of my favorite basketball memories as a kid when I was really into basketball was the series Indiana and Boston. It went to 5 games. Chuck Person was on fire for Indiana, and Bird couldn't walk. And he played in that 5th game, dealing with bouts of like major, like incapacitating back pain and injury. And like these guys can't even sniff that. Like, and Larry Bird, by the way, he's still alive and walking around like he's okay. So it's not like we're not asking these guys to. It's not football, right? We're not asking you guys to. So I think the mentality around athletes today has really hurt the NBA product because there is so much concern about my value overall down the line when the opportunity is right in front of us right here and right now.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys' philosophy is they've been building for a future, for a dynasty for 30 years that hasn't come. And there's all these other teams that do that.
Yeah.
And the ones that really care about their fans are the ones, and the players that get it are the ones that like, let's go now.
Yeah.
And then when players do get a sniff of that, then it changes them.
Yes.
But I think there's been so many, like Kevin Durant, one of them, like he had his time in Golden State, but they were already good. They were already going for it. So he wasn't there before they weren't. And he was just there when they were. So he didn't really get the right sniff of it. So he thought he could just go. But I don't think he's gotten that, like that. Oh man, like this is what it's like when somebody really cares, and like they're like, we don't care, like we want to win this thing.
Yeah,
because they had already won 2.
Yeah,
he just went there and helped them win again.
And this is kind of ignorant, but my brother was saying yesterday, he's pushing back on me because we had this debate like in real life. He was like, dude, do you know what it's like to have a grade 2 hamstring strain? Do you know what it's like to have an appendectomy? Do you know what it's like to have your Achilles explode on you? I was like, I don't, but I don't get paid millions of dollars to compete in the NBA. Like, that's what these guys are supposed to do. Yeah. You know, and Jason Tatum is another one. Like, whether he came back too soon or whatever, it's just, look, all I'm saying is all these things coupled up at one time for the first time can't be such a crazy coincidence.
No, it's a culture of the league.
Yeah.
They've got to, and I do think that the Euro players are going to help that a little bit.
Yes.
Because I think, like, look, if you watched last night, every time you watch Wemby get better and better and better, the whole league's about to have to, like, readjust what they do to stop him.
Yes.
Like, that's what's about to happen. Maybe not this year. Oklahoma City's really good. But, like, if he's on, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And he's also a guy he's had a lot of injuries. But I think it's more the Spurs worried about having a Kawhi situation than Wemby not wanting to play. Because I do think that if you told me, you already saw him, he had a concussion, was like, look, if I can get to the alphabet halfway, I'm going. Like, that's fine. I don't need to know the letters. Yeah. Just give me the ball. And I know that that's not good medically, but he has that in him.
Yeah.
Where that's just where he's driven, because he grew up, like, wanting to be the best player and wanting to win as much as he could.
Absolutely.
And I think, and LeBron, to his credit, is a guy who understands that. Mm-hmm. He plays like
he sure does. And that's part of the reason why he's still so in our crux mentally and why we care about him. Yeah. Right? Because he's always there.
Yeah. And that, like, the reason I worry about him is he's got old man injuries now. Like, he's out because of sciatica.
Well, he is an old man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's 5 years younger than me. Okay. The leaders of college sports will ruin it because they're not creative enough to fix it.
No, they're too greedy to fix it.
Yeah, well,
that's
greed is also the enemy of creativity.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's just everybody's getting paid. This goes back to my story of, like, recovery, and we see this a lot in life. And I'm not quite sure this is going to happen with college sports, but something has to happen before something happens most of the time. Like, we've got to hit some kind of bottom, and I don't know what that's going to be. I mean, Sark yesterday or 2 days ago talking about just how there's no rules anywhere. And what I thought was interesting to what he said about getting players poached and, just the tampering. This is a guy who was, as far as we are concerned, like, flirting with big-time NFL jobs, right? Yeah. And so at some point, there's going to be guys like Sark who are just like, enough with this. Like, I want to coach football, and if I can do it at another level, like, you're going to lose a lot of good coaches. But ultimately, something's going to happen with player movement that's just out of control. But I do think hopefully we're on the other side of the worst. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And honestly, this is one last thing. I try not to get too involved in that. I need to stay involved enough to be knowledgeable, but also as somebody who calls primarily college sports, it's a little bit of an infection if I get too down it. Because I will sit there with a Division I basketball coach who is still coaching actively and an analyst who was a big-time Division I coach, and they will get together for 60 minutes and bitch about the state of basketball. Like, that's what they'll do. Like, you won't believe this, you won't believe this, you won't believe this. And it's really eye-opening. Now, those are also, like, therapy sessions, so it's kind of special. It's not like these coaches are just totally negative and down on stuff, but it's pretty bad. I mean, it's really bad. Like, mid-majors in college basketball are bad right now. And it's because every time somebody scores 20 points in the first half and in the American Conference, their phone's buzzing at halftime about where they're going to go next, or how much they can get paid playing at a Power 5. It's kind of weird. It's unfortunate.
And the leaders of college sports are running all in different directions towards money.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, the good of the many is better than the good of the one. They don't understand that at all.
No, they don't care.
They don't. Like, you are going to deplete your resources and your fan base if you keep, like, expanding the tournament makes absolutely no sense from a fan standpoint.
No.
The basketball is not going to be better. It's not going to be a better television product. You can only spin off NCIS so many times before you're out of cities, right?
That's it.
You can only do that. Well, this is the same thing as TV networks going, like, well, just spin it off, make 76. And then we're like, well, how much money? I'm like, that you're speaking my language. The coaches are all for 76 because they'll be like, I made the tournament.
Yes.
So, like, you're dealing with a bunch of people who are not, again, you as a person who's been through addiction and sobriety, probably has it better because it's like you are the sober. Some of us are the sober person trying to talk to the
100%,
but we don't know how to talk to them.
No.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know why you guys don't see this.
Yes.
And then like somebody gets sober and they're like, oh,
you have a unique experience.
Yeah, you have this unique experience. But yeah, it's like everybody's running in their own direction.
Yes.
And then when you find out when you run together, it's way easier and more fun.
I hope it happens soon.
I do too. Okay. You are a Philly guy.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Brown is right to be disgruntled.
Oof, that's a good one. Yeah. No. And here's why. Okay. You've got a quarterback who it's like you understand who he is, right? He's been to a Super Bowl before you got there. You guys won a Super Bowl together. He's been elite at certain times in his career. This is who you're working with. I think you've got to be a team player at some point, and he'll still get his production and he'll still get paid. I think the issue with A.J. Brown is just deeper internally, right? Then I mean, I think we all kind of get it at this point, and the juice probably is not worth the squeeze anymore for the Eagles. It's just not, especially when in the NFL, I'm always surprised, especially around the draft, the premium we put on wide receivers. Because it's almost like they're made in a lab. They are extremely talented, big, almost thoroughbred-esque wide receivers that come out of college every year. And I understand that A.J. Brown is one of the best in the NFL, but we're not talking about quarterback. He's not a quarterback, which is the most important position in almost any organization on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So beat it, dude. Like really, I understand that there's limitations to your quarterback, but there's going to be limitations anywhere you go.
There's another guy waiting to beat you.
Yeah.
A lot more of you than there are waiting to beat Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people who want to, but like Jalen is already like, you've got that. You're way more replaceable.
100%.
The only thing that keeps us from moving as fast as it can is league rules and contract and all those things.
Yes.
Otherwise, like you could have walked in and said, I would want to trade. And everybody's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Where do you want to go?
Yes. Yes.
Like where are you not going to fight us on? And he'll go, okay, these 3 places. And they're like, all right, we can't get those 3. What's the next 3? Give us those lists. We'll get you out of here. It's better for everybody. But that's the only reason it hasn't happened. That's the only reason.
Yes.
It's the only reason is that there's red tape. Okay. A pop culture fandom that I wish was not a thing is.
A pop culture fandom that I wish was not a thing is, I mean, I want to say K-pop because I just can't relate at all. Mumble rap. I mean, it's a shame. I kind of like, I feel old saying that, but like I listen to rap now. It's really hard to connect.
Yeah. I mean, like,
not that it's for me, but it's still, I used to be able to connect.
Here's the thing. None of it was ever for us.
Yeah.
Ever for us. But it did open our eyes into, it was the storytelling.
That's a brilliant point.
It was the storytelling. Yeah. Like me listening to Ice Cube, I never lived through one, like there is nothing that I've lived through in my life that is the same as Ice Cube. From the worst parts of his life to the best parts of his life. But I can listen to NWA and hear their story and hear what it's like, even though, especially when I was younger, I did not understand it. I didn't understand why you'd sing about all this stuff, but they're just telling a story. Just like Johnny Cash is telling stories. Like that's what it's not doing. That's what not enough music does across the board. The best music is one that tells a story, and the best, I mean, like Kendrick Lamar is so good because he's telling you like, this is how this part of my culture is.
Yeah.
This is what we deal with. This is what we're going through. And the best way for me to maybe get this message across is if you like this song enough to listen to it on repeat until one day you get it.
Yes.
Until one day it goes right there.
I agree.
So
my answer to that is, I think the watered down rap that we're getting now, the mumble rap, and also the K-pop, I just can't connect to it. And I do miss, you'll appreciate this, what the hell happened to a good comedy movie? Like, what the hell happened to a good goddamn comedy movie? I was listening to the Rewatchables, on the Ringer, and they were talking about
Tropic Thunder. They've been talking about
Tropic Thunder. Yeah. I was listening to that one, and it wasn't Kyle. It was the other guy who I like, who's a producer of the show now, who's getting a little more run. Anyways, he said the last good comedy was This Is the End.
Yeah,
and that's like really quite possible. I mean, I'm sure there's been other good comedies in between. But we used to have a treasure trove.
You have to go find them.
Yeah, it's rough. So I miss that.
Yeah, no, I mean, Vince Vaughn, like let Vince Vaughn run. Like, let's find some good stuff for Vince Vaughn.
I could watch Made, right? Like that was a great funny movie.
Made, he is the most unlikable, likable character. And see, he should have won. He should have been nominated for awards for Made because he threaded a needle in being funny and unlikable and like you still wanted to work out for him.
Yes,
you did, even though he was so impossible.
Yes,
like, oh, is that what she has to do? Like the stewardess thing. Is that what she's saying? So she doesn't know that like she's really into
he
shit?
is such an asshole.
It's so
in that movie.
great. He's so awful, but he's so. You just want to be like, you know what? I'd help this guy out.
I agree.
Look, to hear Columbo is my favorite line in that movie. To hear Columbo, Peter Falk go, because you lost my carpet cleaning fan and I don't like you.
That was a great movie. It really was.
Yeah. Okay. Live Golf failing is objectively hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw it coming. It's Saudi money. It
was greed. Like
it was
anytime greed fails.
Yeah. And also there was we're expanding the game. Like, no, you're not. You're all getting paid.
Playing less.
That was their big thing. We're expanding the game. No, you're not. You're playing music and you're wearing shorts. And that's where that ends. Yeah. There was nothing about that brought more people to the table as far as the sport of golf is concerned.
Tell me how you're going to get better when the other guys play 72 holes and you play 54.
Yeah. No,
they're playing more than you.
It was what it was. We knew what it was.
Yeah.
And, a lot of those guys got paid. And look, we're talking about some of those dudes. You really can't fault them. They cashed in on a ticket to generational wealth. Mm-hmm. And as much as, it's kind of, I guess, a failed experiment in the eyes of the sport of golf overall, a lot of guys got wealthy off of it.
Yeah. I will criticize only so far in that the Saudis never.
I'm not going there. Yeah, I don't mean to go there. Yeah, because everybody's taking. For all I know is we're getting paid by Saudis. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know where all the money's coming from all the time. And the Saudis have never called me up and like, listen, we need you on the podcast. And I could be like, listen, no, I don't agree with anything you do, and I think that this is wrong. And then they'd be like, but how much for this much money? I know that I could probably say no to a lot.
Yeah.
But I also have a wife, and she's gonna be like, look. You can be ethical after they pay.
100%.
You can be ethical after. Yeah. And I know that would happen. She's not an unethical person, but she's going to be like, we're going to still do this. We're going to still do this thing because you're the one guy who doesn't want $50 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'd rather stay married. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is only still in the league because he's the best bad option for the Steelers.
100%. The development of quarterbacks has been a real problem now. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers is still being kicked around as an option for a team that was in the playoffs last year is a joke. And it's an indictment on the quarterbacking situation and the development of quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Lane Kiffin is a clown and is already showing that in Baton Rouge.
Clown is a strong word. Yeah. He's just... he's extremely complicated, and he is very selfish. He's very selfish. That's
I heard you talking about because he's also on a sober journey.
Yeah, and when you're sober, you kind of you can work a program. It's 12 steps. I go to AA, and part of that is just like, dude, get outside of yourself. It's not all about you.
Yeah,
and words matter. You're going to say things to people. You don't want to say something in the middle of the day that you're going to have to go apologize for.
The way you describe, look, and I have family member who's an addict and in recovery and all that, and I'm not getting too much into that. We're not in the speaking phase yet of this journey, but it sounds to me like he's replaced one addiction with others, which is like social media, owning his enemies, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and so like that's the cycle he would need to get out of, right?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, it's getting that time. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up with this on Lane Kiffin, and then one quick question at the end.
Okay,
Lane Kiffin saying that he doesn't he has grandparents saying not to go to Mississippi. The day that in the town he is in, throughout 45,000 ballots that were already cast, that borders the state of Mississippi, was also in the same side of the Civil War, and is not exactly a racial bastion in and of itself, is really a weird comment to make.
Yeah, it's Lane Kiffin. It's Lane Kiffin. I think
I'm not trying to indict LSU or anything. I'm just saying that like the state of Mississippi, the state of Louisiana, like you're talking about like, it's 5% less.
Yeah, he gets an adrenaline rush from it.
Yeah, that's exactly. Okay, middle seats on planes should not exist.
No, they need to exist so I can sit on the aisle.
I'm just saying you take the middle seat out and you have window and aisle only.
It will never happen. I'm happy with the state of affairs, and just put me on the aisle.
Okay.
I can't be in the middle.
Pete, get the hell out of here. I'm tired of talking to you. The Pete Sousa Show.
I'm coming back again. Let's do this again. This was a lot of fun.
365 Sports Extras. Like and subscribe. Pete Sousa Show. Like and subscribe.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm Paul.
You're
He's
the best.
Pete.